Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Jamsys, and we're back at it again with another RTA video. Nice DJ and Arya card, but otherwise, we're just gonna move on. Summer Luluca dropped, and we're testing her out in RTA. She seems like a pretty good answer to a lot of these non-attack openers, which is like all of them, honestly. But you know, that is the nature of it. I first picked Stenny just because I want to invite in Cleave or aggro picks, such as like Cilias, to test. We get LRK because LRK is our premier answer to squishy stealth DPSs that have ruled the meta. Thanks to a stupid S3, which got giga buffed, but whatever. They're hovering a light warrior, so I'm hoping this is Cilias so I can pick my Summer Luluca. And yeah, here we go. It's Cilias. Like who's gonna pick Lionheart Sermia in this day and age? But we grab Peyra just because Peyra provides protection because she outspeeds Cilias. And we pick a Summer Luluca because she can easily cleanse everything past Cilias. My opponent picks DJB, and Cilias plus DJB or Peyra DJB is a very common combo. And then my opponent also picks Politis because Summer Luluca is a non-attack skill unit. So she is something that Politis actually shuts down, especially with the CR cut. So Politis stonks just continue to go up. I pick a new Aiden build, which I'm excited to show off here. And my opponent's team's damage is actually pretty low if you think about it, just because like even if this is Omega damage Politis, her damage numbers aren't that good and they don't have attack buff. So I decided to pick APOC here just because APOC matches well into LRK as well. And we do have cleansers and all the sort. My opponent last picks Bryce area and I do not want to deal with that, especially with Soulburn on the board. So I opt to ban it out. And we're going to the match with our first 4 picks, I think. But yeah, let me talk about Summer Luluca. She is a unit that shuts down a lot of these non-attack openers, like, what's it called? Cilias, for example. Peyra is another big one. Ran if you press the S2 because she strips off immunity. And I don't know, I have mixed feelings about Summer Luluca. I am glad that there are more answers for Cilias, but I'm kind of not loving how universally good Summer Luluca is, just because, again, look at Politis. There's non-attack skills everywhere. So her application is actually really big. I've seen some like Cleave Summer Lulucas who run high effectiveness to shut down like Senyas and Karinas and stuff, which I found pretty wild. But yeah, we go first with Peyra because she's fast and my opponent is not Peyra. We land every debuff, including the one on DJB. Lilias opts to not press her skills, which makes sense because there's unbuffable on the entire team and Summer Luluca is going to strip everything anyway. So there's not really much of a point, or like not strip, but like cleanse the attack down and stuff. My opponent decides to push up, but my Summer Luluca fails to cut due to Politis, and we get to reveal our new Aiden tech. She's actually on a lifesteal build just because in these kind of like protect the carry comps, I think lifesteal has a lot more value as a 1v4 unit. And since she gets CR push, she's a little bit less reliant on dodges than Rylet, I think. Anyways, we use our skills, we proc, but one of the downsides to Summer Luluca is that she is a RGB element, so she is countered by the fire unit. So, as you can see, we RNG miss on Politis, so we don't get the silence or blind, which could have been pretty spooky if you got hit with her damage. But if you saw, her death buff plus the ice cream buff actually gives you a lot of HP back, especially since the HP scales with your HP because it's 20% max health. So it actually has the most value on like tanky HP scaling bruisers like APOC, which is kind of weird because they were nerfed in Frenzy. Anyway, we delete the Cilias here just because we don't want to deal with her debuffs that she's going to put out, and my Peyra got hit by Politis because they can hit my RGB elemental units, but I can't hit theirs. Unfortunate. My Steady blows up, but that's to be expected. This is a lifesteal Aiden showcase, to be really honest. My opponent can no longer kill this Aiden unless they get very lucky and precisely land a stun with Politis S1, which I am like manifesting, like praying that it doesn't happen. But I'm going to use this time where I'm going to slowly grind my opponent's team down with Lifesteal Aiden to explain my thoughts on Summer Luluca. She's very good. I wouldn't say that she's an over-centralizing unit like Cilias, just because she's a little bit less flexible, because there are a few cleaves or like aggressive styles that actually can bypass her, I've noticed. So some of the variants are the Summer Break Charlotte and Jacko cleaves. They don't care about Summer Break Luluca. ML Rowana type of cleaves don't care about Luluca. Naturally outspeeding or other type of CR pushers, like think about like ML Charles is actually really good into Luluca, just because there's no attack skills and there's no non-attack skills and they naturally CR push you, or like really fast landies or naturally outspeeding and cleaving, because like most ML Lulucas you're gonna find that they're 240 and 250 and you can easily build a team that's 250-ish speed. She also has weaknesses to non-attack skills herself, like Celine or Politis. But otherwise, I think she provides a really solid check to a lot of these aggro options. It's just, I'm kind of upset about it because my main playstyle of, you know, like Peyra or Lilias plus DJB to get like a really aggressive draft going is really shut down by Green Luluca, because the defense buff and the heal that she provides makes it really difficult to bust through some of these tanks. But I will show me trying to bust through them anyway. I do think though that if you're playing standard, like Peyra or Sealy standard against Green Luluca, it's actually very boring and hard to play, because it's like that game, that mini game that Shuna and Hand Guy have, where it's like whoever presses their buttons first loses. So you just have a bunch of bozo spamming S1s, and I play this game to press my buttons like an ape, you know? So not very fun for my playstyle, but I do understand that Lilias and units like Lilias were over-centralizing, but I digress. Basically, this draft's going the same as the last one. I pick Steny, we invite aggressive picks, plus LRK, I guess. My opponent responds with aggressive picks. I respond with, you know, my speed contester plus unconditioner cleanser. Well, she's not unconditional, but she like pretty much is, unless my opponent decides they want to like commit to like a cease area or something. My opponent then picks 2 anti-debuff units. And what do we know? We have another trend where my opponent's team is like pretty low-ish damage. So it means that Arya and Lifesteal Aiden are going to solo their team. So I'm going to continue my rant on Green Luluca here. My issue with Green Luluca is that since Cilias and other openers like Peyra and Ran have overloaded kits, Summer Luluca needs to have a bunch of overloaded mechanics to counter those overloaded mechanics. Like, do you know how like when Politis came out and she killed, like quote unquote killed a bunch of cleave that was popular at the time, such as like Flan or Alots or CDOM? But then did you know what happened after that? We got a bunch of openers that were like quote unquote Politis proof, like Peyra restricts and then unbuffables, so Politis can't push up and kill your team. Rand gives a 2-turn immunity that Politis can't strip off. And Rand has a really good chance of just like killing Politis outright. So it means that future cleave units, such as Lethe, because she provides like frostbitten debuff or whatever, they might be more busted to compensate Green Luluca, which I'm like not excited to think about. But that is something to keep in mind. It's like power creep. Like once you crank up the power level in Epic 7, since SG decides they don't want to nerf, like it's stuck there. Except for Hwion. But yeah. Oh, we had to press our Peyra S3 because like I'm not ripping S2 into Dilbert plus Edward, are you crazy? But it's fine. We are able to get our opponent to press their Cilias buttons, and then we press our Luluca buttons because again, ape brain, cleave brain, we want to press our buttons. And God, you know, so last game we couldn't hit the hit chance down onto poultice to save our team. But this game, when we don't want the debuffs to land, they land because RNG is a bitch. What can you do? But again, with the death buff and the ice cream buff, like our team is still like pretty healthy. Like I think even our Stenny is going to survive another turn thanks to Aiden's push-up and like the death buff helping provide some mitigation against the LRK S3. Not the LRK S3, the Dilibet S3. And then we have Escort to protect our other teammates. We go for the S3. I'm trying to kill this Edward as fast as I can just because there is an RNG way to lose this where Edward just counters our team to death and just like hits Aiden and hits her with like a hit down or something. And then she can't lifesteal up enough. So we need to get him out of the way as soon as possible. And luckily we protected our team. And the LRK not only hits my Aiden, but they also crit my Aiden. So like, damn, very, very lucky. But I'm not going to complain about it because I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. We get rid of Edward, we push everything back. Now we can start stunning the LRK because, you know, Payra's really fair and balanced. Being 320 speed with like 160 effectiveness. Soul Burn S1 stun. Like, yeah, you know, we all know the drill. My opponent at this point can't really get rid of my DPSs fast enough, I think. Like, I can theoretically perma-stun this LRK. Aiden's gonna be a problem, even though this designer a little bit is on Symbol of Unity, I think. Unless they get like a really lucky hit. I do think I'm going to be fine for the foreseeable future. We still have Stenny to dump our souls into. But there is something I've been really upset about by this summer event, and that is the event stage. If you don't know, the event stage is actually really good value for your money if you're trying to chase some of these sets. And you know me, I don't farm anything but Wyvern because I'm a speed slave. So there's a lot of value in me picking up the rare counter set piece or res set piece or pen set piece for like some of my anchors or some of my 1v4 carry DPSs. And I actually can't clear past the 4th stage because my summer Luluca is only at a no imprint. And I didn't pull any blue Lulucas previously, so I'm kind of stuck with the really hard difficulty. And since I'm missing the key ML5s to actually clear the level 5 with Rowana, which is like Lone Crescent Bologna, I'm kind of like out of luck. And the fact that it's pay to win in like every sense is like kind of upsetting. Like you need imprints to make the boss clearable on not whale gear or like without specific hero setups, which I find to be incredibly bullshit. And on top of that, I have to have the artifact to get bonus materials. Like if you compare like a plus 15 copy to a plus 30 copy, you basically get like an extra hump buff worth of like the stupid currency because it jumps from 10% to 40%. And yes, Epic 7 is a game that has more advantages to whales, but I don't think it's ever been this blatant either. And while yes, at the time of recording, they did have some pushback, get some pushback from like all the servers, and they did nerf the stages a bit, I don't think it's enough. And I just think it's a really poor precedent because I like the old system where it's like, if you use artifact, you got like X more currency, but the currency was for like basically your regular side story rewards that weren't repeatable, because if you, the hunt buff thing is like infinitely repeatable, which is kind of disgusting. If you have like whales levels of stamina plus the imprints and the artifact to boost it. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just hoping that it's a one-off decision. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I'll keep an open mind. But I don't think what they did right now is enough, and I do hope you change it. Anyway, back to this game. I'm done complaining about it. I'm not gonna be shady and name names, but I'm not gonna complain more about it. Like, I'll just hope they'll fix it, but I think it's very poorly designed and really bad faith for the community. But yeah, in this match, my opponent first picked Stenny, and me, being the ape I am, picked aggressive picks because obviously it's Stenny. I want to kill it. So they pick Green Luluca plus Yolha, which are pretty good answers to my things because Yolha provides mitigation and Green Luluca, as you know, provides her very wide array of supportive capabilities. And I think this is her like best use, is she kind of wins the war of attrition by giving you the HP buff, not the HP buff, the HP healing buff plus defense buff. So teams that are aggro and don't commit to full cleave normally run out of steam, and then by that time Stenny can like obliterate your team very quickly because she has a lot of support from the other teammates. So we're going to try our best to cleave our Green Luluca, and it's so ironic that I think one of the easiest answers to Green Luluca is just cleave her, except I don't really have the best cleave answers built for that, so oops. But no matter, we're gonna press her buttons. Green Luluca is able to cut, which is tragic, but again, Poultice is red, she's green. In theory, this should miss, or so I'm hoping. But it's gonna be a very tall order, but I do see myself being able to actually win this. And I think my opponent picked Solitaria to prevent me from picking Solitaria, because if you didn't know, Green Luluca is a focus unit, so without focus she can't do this like follow-up attack she just did, so that's kind of spooky. We're gonna soul burn into my opponent's team here, and we luckily did miss or dodge all the debuffs with our Poultice, so that's pretty good. We're able to go in and land our debuffs, all of our debuffs surprisingly, on the units except for Green Luluca. I thought the Solitaria might be on like a resistance set just because it's on like the slower side, but again, I guess not. So what I'm trying to do here is I want to proc Yolha's S2, which is a non-attack skill, and since we soul burn Poultice S1, if you get another S2 proc, the Stenny is dead, and then we can slowly grind our opponent team to the ground. But it's not looking too great for us. Solitaire uses S3 on SSV, but it doesn't do anything. Or because of the 2-turn immunity? Or I guess we just got resisted. Whatever, we're just better at the game. What can you do? Stenny's able to go, but thanks to the hit chance down from Poultice, she actually bricks all her attacks, so that's like kind of lucky, I'm going to say. But yeah, that is another one of Green Luluca's counters, which is Solitaria, but I don't think it's the best matchup. Like picking Solitaria just to deny the S2 is kind of sketchy. And we luckily get another 50% hit onto this Yolha, so she can't actually S3 my Sylvan Sage Vivian or whatever. We get a lucky dual attack too with Sylvan Sage Vivian, but I think it would have been fine because we proc Yolha S2 here and we would have killed. But yeah. Was it RNG? Yes, kind of, but we take those. It's streamer luck. But if you want examples of cleaves that like kind of destroyed my Green Luluca, like they're here. Oh, there's a lot of cases where Green Luluca really didn't do anything. Like in this match, like my Para outsped and they just lost, and Green Luluca didn't really do anything here. So I do not think she is a unit that is like pick or ban in all matches, and even in matches where you theoretically think she would be good, Green Luluca is not tanky. Her star sign isn't the tankiest, so against like aim it cleave and stuff, like strong single target damage nukers can actually kill her, like full damage Aiden, which I found out the hard way, so oof. But whatever. Moving on to the last match. I kind of have to rethink my draft, because what I'm doing is like a bootleg Faintless draft where I play it a lot more aggressively because I don't have many of the standard options built. So I guess I will have to figure out an answer to Green Luluca because, you know, it's the new meta and you have to adapt. Like, what can you do? But yeah, that's my final thoughts. It took a really long time to say, and I think I should have said it at the start of the video, but yes, to recap, good non-attack skill shutdowner, good cleanser, good defensive utility. Poor matchups in Cleave, ironically, that don't use non-attack skills, and shut down by non-attack skill punishers like Celine or Politis. Also shut down partially by Solitaria, but I don't really like that matchup. I do foresee her being a meta staple, but to what extent, I'm not too sure. Like, I can see her being a pocket pick, but I don't think she's gonna see the prevalence of DJB, because I think Cilias will fall out of favor, just like how Basar fell out of favor once what's her face came out. Once Hyafin came out, like in that sense. And then a new top dog will arrive, which I will gladly put my speed gear on. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, we're just gonna go for a debuff centric Cleave here. I don't want to deal with the defense buff of anything. We do have Steny for ramping damage. We do have Peyra to shut down the Karina. So I'm praying that it's enough. Most Lulucas don't go above 240 ER, which is perfect because my summertime Iceria is 240 effectiveness. So we should have a 100% chance, or like 85, I guess, to debuff. We start off the match. We have to press S2. We don't really have a choice. We luckily land most of the debuffs, so we're able to prevent skill nulls from going up against the majority of their team. I actually decide to not press S3 here because, again, it's going to get stripped anyway. And there's no point in wasting the S3 when I can potentially hold it for later, because like the barrier is a big reason why Peyra is so sticky in these long drawn out matches. But my opponent decides to hold their skills too for when I inevitably press my skills. So again, we're at that weird Mexican standoff where nobody wants to press their skills. And oh my god, bro, I don't play this game to hold my skills. You know what I mean? Anyway, they choose not to hold their skills on AOL though, because I'm guessing they have Giga effectiveness. And my DJB does get CC'd, which is great. We just use the S1 to proc the skill nulls here. And then I'm going for the play where I stun Karina and LRK, and then I go on to kill the LRK. So Karina doesn't actually get defense buff. But it's going to be very close. I can foresee. We do proc and proc our bombs and stun the 2 DPS units, so we have 1 turn of safety. We activate Karina's passive, but again, she's stunned, so no defense buff, no speed buff from her S3, or at least not yet. And we finish off the LRK just because he had so many debuffs on increasing the damage of Steny S3 a bunch. We're back to this Mexican standoff of holding our skills because there's no point in using skills that are about to get stripped or stunned, which I'm not liking too much. We go for like random strips or bombs onto Karina here, but we don't manage to land it. And now Luluca's free to go for S3, I think, to give her Karina def buff since she missed it. So that's her synergy. That's another synergy Luluca has with def scaling units, just because she provides a free defense buff that can give them survivability and damage if, you know, like you brick your proc conditions like Karina did here. But I want to kill AOL as soon as possible, I think, just so she can't get another S3, I say, as I monkey into Karina, just because. But you see what I mean about this ice cream buff providing a lot of health for this Karina that I now have to burn through, which is kind of annoying. We unfortunately do miss our Soulburn S1 onto Karina, which kind of sucks, but I think this is the meta. Like, Karina is already a really popular unit, and I think green Luluca makes her a lot better. I went for the strip of the defense buff onto Karina, but like, why would we get a 50% hit chance? We wouldn't, so Karina is able to go, and this is going to be pretty painful, I feel. She has defense buff, but my Cilias can't be def broken, so we should be able to survive just because Cilias is built on bulk, or at least mine is. We do barely survive, even though we did get crit, which is kind of lucky. And now we're in a situation where I kind of have to race to kill this Karina before Karina gets another S3 because Steny is not surviving another S3. And that's our timer, I guess. I really do kind of regret using our souls trying to stun this Karina because I would have just had soul burn into Steny. Seria gets killed by a stray dual attack, but that's just how it is, I guess. I can't even be upset at it. But yeah, this green Luluca unit is very annoying. When I was play testing for this video, I lost a lot of matches where I just lost because I let green Luluca through, even though she was the correct ban, because I want to test how these comps fared against her. And I can safely say she's not it. She is not it against Peyra and DJB. She just like shuts them down so hard because this comp relies on the two openers to generate tempo for their team. And by forcing you to press nothing, that's 2 units you shut down with 1 unit. You know, not a very good matchup. But whatever. This match should still be winnable just because Steny is fair and balanced. And we have DJB to tank, and we have our Peyra to infinitely lock down this Karina. Or like, I'm hoping so. We unfortunately don't kill the AOL with poison either. But yeah, I think this match is pretty much won. We just need one more Steny S3 attack and we should be good. This Luluca is able to cycle and cleanse her S3. Like, these buffs are so annoying, man. But again, since she doesn't give immunity, that's another weakness, I think, is like really high debuff characters like Amal or Mintha, I think will be pretty good. They soul burn into DJB, but like, dude, he has shit ER to resist like Peyras and stuff, but he has like enough ER to resist Karinas. Come on now. Anyway, it's fine. On the coming turn, we're gonna cleanse everything from our Steny with the S3, and we should be able to soul burn for the win, even through the ice cream buff and the death buff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I would rate the Summer Luluca a solid 8.5 out of 10 for the meta, but like a 10 out of 10 against my aggressive setup. So if you match into me, please do not pick this unit. I am going to rip my hair out. But yeah, we're rounding out to the end of the video where we successfully cleave this team, but like barely. I do want to plug my Twitch here. We're almost at 50 followers, so I can finally get my own channel coins for Gamba. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.